The sold-out crowd here in Philly last night came out roaring, and if they needed an igniter, it was Ryan Howard in his first inning home run. The Phils' victory, coupled with a Mets loss last night, cut the Phillies' magic number to clinch the NL East to 1. Stomachs aren't churning here in South Philadelphia because the Phillies, for the second consecutive year, can clinch the National League East here at home against the Washington Nationals. They expect a sold-out crowd. They're looking at the scoreboard where the Mets right now lead the Florida Marlins 2-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Towels are whipping, and they have been over the last handful of days as they anticipate another celebration here in Philadelphia. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Tim McCarver. Great to be with you on this Saturday afternoon as the MLB season is winding down. The regular season is winding down, and it has been a roller coaster ride.
Well, I should say, we thought we would take you all the way back to February 13th. 7.5 months ago when the Phillies pitchers and catchers arrived, and here it is with the magic number at 1. The added incentive once again, if the Phillies win today, regardless of what the Mets do, then Cole Hamels will not have to start tomorrow, and that would make a huge difference with the Phillies going into the playoff competition.
Well, last year when the Phillies were on the brink of clinching, they sent 45-year-old Jamie Moyer to the mound. They'll do it again against the Washington Nationals. He's going after win number 16 on the season. Again, the Phillies fans are hoping for another National League East title this afternoon, hoping that they can whip them team into a frenzy. We'll be back in a few moments.
Nice tonight. Do it again. Oh wait, we got division champs.
Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. Well, back here at Citizens Bank Park as the Phillies and the Washington Nationals get set for Game 2 of this 3-game series. But this is not just any 3-game series because 45-year-old left-hander Jamie Moyer is hoping to pitch his hometown team to a second straight National League East title. Last year in the same situation, he threw 5 1/3 strong innings on the final day of the regular season and helped the Phillies into the postseason.
Keep in mind that Jamie Moyer has not lost to the Expos/Nationals since 1991. However, he didn't face them again until 2004, and he's 5-0 since then.
Yeah, he has been fantastic this year for the Phillies with 15 victories. That's 10th best in the National League. And Charlie Manuel, the skipper for the Philadelphia Phillies, never knows when Jamie Moyer's tiring in the middle of a ball game, but what he does know is that the game plan is always efficient to start.
Charlie also knows that Jamie Moyer is quite an inspiration, being the oldest player in Major League Baseball. Remarkable.
15 victories for Moyer. The record for victories for a 45-year-old is Phil Niekro's 16 back in 1984. So Jamie has a chance to duplicate that this afternoon. And the Philly players who followed Moyer out to the field: Pedro Feliz over at third base, the sure-handed third baseman Jimmy Rollins, the reigning MVP and Gold Glove winner at short, Chase Utley, who had an MVP first half for the Phillies and has come on as of late, and Ryan Howard. There's not much more you can say about Ryan Howard except that he has been dominant offensively here in the month of September. Pat Burrell helped carry this team in the first half of the year with his offense. He's been solid in left field. Shane Victorino has been one of the igniters for this Phillies defense, and Jason Worth has played himself into being an everyday player. And Carlos Ruiz will do the catching this afternoon for the Phillies. He is normally out there when Jamie Moyer is on the hill. So Moyer has finished up his warm-up tosses last year when he helped the Phillies clinch the National League East. After the ball game, this kid at 45, who grew up less than an hour from Philadelphia, sat in his locker and broke down in tears.
Local product, went from Sellersville, the son-in-law of Digger Phelps. By the way, Johan Santana, that game in the top of the 9th inning, Santana still in there at Shea with the Mets on top 2-0.
Well, he has been unbelievable today. And the first pitch this afternoon taken outside by Anderson Hernandez. who is hitting .301 since being acquired by the Nationals from the New York Mets. Santana has been just what the doctor ordered for the New York Mets this entire year. Christian Guzman is the on-deck hitter for the Washington Nationals. 1-1, swung on and missed, and there's the changeup from Moyer at 75 miles an hour.
Slow, slower, and slowest. Even though Jamie Moyer gets a lot of strikeouts inside the right-handed batters.
And a lot of right-handers in this lineup this afternoon for the Nationals. A liner back toward the middle, scooped up on a hop by Chase Utley. And there's one away, one out here in Philadelphia. Let's go out to Jeannie for a game break and an update on that Mets game.
Well, Tim McCarver talks about it, so we need to show at top 9. Yes, there he is, Johan Santana on the mound. First batter, Jorge Cantu, going to take a seat. His 8th victim, and the next batter, that would be Josh Willingham. He would end up with a double. Dan Uggla on, but it's 2-0 Mets, top 9.
All right, so the Marlins are threatening. It's 2-0 in the top of the 9th inning. Santana's still in there for New York. Christian Guzman is the batter. Guzman hitting .314 on the year. And we apologize. Normally you'll see the graphics depicting the batting average, the home runs, and the RBIs for the hitters when they step up, but we're having some technical difficulties. We'll try to get those up as soon as possible. 1-1 the count to Guzman. Guzman has had a renaissance this year with these Nationals, 180 base hits. He'll be followed by Ryan Zimmerman. 1-1 is on the outside corner. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jamie Moyer 15-7 with a 3.78 ERA and 245 career victories. And if you want to see somebody that knows how to pitch, the artistry of pitching, this is the guy. Off the outside corner, so 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was a fastball. Tom, I'm reminded of that story by Lon Simmons, the famous San Francisco Giant broadcaster, talking about Tommy John once. He said, you get the feeling that you can walk along next to the pitch on its way to home plate. And that's what hitters say when they're talking about Moyer.
I think it's amazing to think that he is one of 4 pitchers in the history of baseball to win more games in his 40s than in his 20s.
That is remarkable.
The 2-2. Line drive caught by Feliz. 2 away here at the top of the first inning in Philadelphia. There are 2 outs in the 9th inning in New York as well, with the Mets hanging on to a 2-0 lead. And Ryan Zimmerman on the year hitting .281 with 14 home runs and 51 RBIs, and he's been bitten by the flu bug the last couple days.
You know, Zimmerman, one of the real talented guys on the National, and a dangerous hitter in a park like this, since a new Nationals park is really a fair park. But here in Philadelphia, the launching pad, ball gets out of here in a hurry.
Yeah, in fact, Zimmerman has had a handful of home runs to dead center field at Nationals Park, and there you see a scan of Citizens Bank Park. 1 is taken low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
One of those home runs on opening day for the Nationals against the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, things started out well for Matty Acta's squad. Not only did they play well against the Braves in that opener, but they also played well here in Philadelphia. And the first series in Philly here in 2008. Matty Acta in his 2nd season with 132 wins under his belt. His team has been besieged with injuries. 2-1 is taken outside. It's 3-1. Well, here is the home run that Ryan Zimmerman hit against the Braves. And there was a lot of electricity there that night in D.C. because it was a long time coming for that new ballpark, and he really spun that electricity, taking that home run over the wall against Peter Moylan. Here you see the numbers for Zimmerman this year. The count is full, 3-2. He's out in front of a changeup, and the count holds full.
See a lot of balls hit like that against Moyer by right-handed batters. They're out in front, hitting balls off the end of the bat.
Well, we mentioned that Matty Acta has a lot of right-handers in this lineup today. Only 1 left-hander in Roger Bernardino, the number 8 batter. The towels are whipping. And Another foul ball down the right field line. So Zimmerman, flu symptoms and all, is getting himself pretty good at bat. Pitch number 8 in this at bat. It's hit on the ground toward the middle. Utley has it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jamie Moyer. After a half, the Nationals nothing. And the Phillies coming up.
Hi, I'm Jeff Jenkins. Welcome to Fox Saturday. Here's today's lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies. Batting leadoff is a shortstop, Jimmy J. Rollins. Batting second in right field, Jason J. Dub Worth. Batting third at second base, Chase Utley. Batting fourth is Big Brown Ryan Howard. Batting fifth is Pat the Bat Burrell in left field. Batting sixth in center field is Shane the Flying Hawaiian Victorino. Batting seventh at third base, Pedro FPP Feliz. Batting eighth, doing the catching, Carlos Chuch Ruiz. And batting ninth, doing the pitching, Jamie the Fossil Moyer.
I like that, Jamie the Fossil Moyer, and they will face left-hander John Lannon, the 24-year-old from Long Beach, New York. And the first pitch to Jimmy Rollins, taken outside and low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Our starting lineups brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Rollins on the year hitting .277 with 11 homers and 59 RBIs. And he's got the count even, 1-1. Jeff Jenkins, who we just saw, the 4th most games played in Major League Baseball today without making it to the postseason. 1-1 off the end of the bat. A pop-up. First base side in foul territory. Boone is over toward the camera well, makes the catch, and there's one away. Let's quickly head out to Southern California for a game break with Jeannie.
Everyone talking about Johan Santana on 3 days rest, going for the Mets, saving the best for last. Cody Ross flying out to left. Complete game for Santana. Mets win 2-0 your final in Milwaukee. Would Ben Sheets be a hero? Hoping so. Taking them out after a 10-day layoff with arm trouble. Now it's trouble with Darrell Ward. 2-run home run. Cubs with the 2-0 lead, bottom 1.
All right, Jeannie, thank you very much. And Darrell Ward, who's playing this afternoon for the Cubs against Ben Sheets, who threw a bullpen session just a few days ago and said that he was fine to pitch today. And I think if you're Dale Swain, the manager, you're feeling good that he's at least giving it a try, hopefully going into the postseason. Jason Worth, the batter, and Worth is in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
So the Philadelphia Phillies will not win today, or will not clinch today, unless they win. And again, that added benefit of having Cole Hamels, who leads the majors in innings pitched, will not start tomorrow if the Phillies win this afternoon.
Well, there are a lot of folks talking today about Cole Hamels and the year he has had, and he really has been a huge asset for this Phillies club. 1-2 to Worth, just missed him as it is off the glove of the catcher Will Nieves. And it's 2-2.
Now that pitch inside, I think what the crowd is doing is hearkening back to 14 months ago when John Lannon hit Chase Utley, and then he hit Ryan Howard later on in the game and was ejected by Hunter Windelstedt, the home plate umpire.
Well, this was John Lannon's major league debut that Tim was just alluding to. A lot of emotions that day. Pitched pretty well early on, and then boom, Chase Utley's out for a month. Jason Worth is down on strikes for out number 2, so that's the first strikeout for Lannon.
Yeah, Chase Utley hit on the hand, and then Ryan Howard was hit later. Howard had homered earlier in the game as Worth goes down on strikes. So Howard hit. Lannon, in his major league debut, was ejected.
Well, Manny Acta was thrown out of 1 game last year, the manager of the Washington Nationals, and that was the 1 game. And Hunter Windelstedt is the one who threw him out, and Manny was saying even a week later that he just couldn't believe that Hunter Windelstedt would throw a guy out making his major league debut. And there you see his numbers for this year: 9-14, a 3.86 ERA with 112 strikeouts in 177 innings. He's ahead of Utley, no balls and 1 strike. And Utley fouls the next pitch off and breaks his bat.
That is a shattered bat. And that's where left-handers in particular have to pitch Chase Utley, because he stands right on top of the plate. When you're that close to the plate, you're going to get hit a lot. And that's why Utley leads the majors in being hit by a pitch with 27 times this year.
Yeah, Phillies franchise record. He set it last year and he broke it this year.
That's a bad record to break.
So 0-2 the count to Utley, who is 5th in the league in runs scored and 10th in the league in doubles, with his 33 homers and 104 RBIs, and he takes a fastball a little low. It's 1-2. Utley had an outstanding first half of the year, and with Ryan Howard winning the MVP 2 years ago and Jimmy Rollins winning it last year, Philly fans thought that there was going to be a three-peat with Chase Utley after the start he had.
Well, there might be a two-peat this year. That's Ryan Howard. Hey, even last week I was thinking Albert Pujols should be the MVP, but I think I've changed my mind with the September that Howard has had. But I believe that's how close it's going to be this year.
I absolutely agree with you, because you can throw in Lance Berkman as well, and you can throw in Carlos Delgado for argument's sake. So it is going to be close. And I think a lot of times you might have to think outside the box when you're selecting this year's MVP.
Think outside the bun. We like to do that. It's time to get a plug in.
2-2 the count to Chase Utley.
We love plugs.
Well, early on this season, it was Ryan Howard who was scuffling under 200, and it was Chase Utley who was hitting over 300. And now they've combined for a pretty good September. 2-2 rolled on the ground, a foul ball. Alfonso Marquez, the first base umpire, was right on that.
You got to look at Ryan Howard, as National League pitchers have to do on a regular basis. But Ryan Howard, if he does win the MVP, it will be the lowest batting average ever for a most valuable player in the major leagues. Prior to him, Marty Marion hit 267 in 1946 for the Cardinals.
After that foul ball, the count remains 2-2. And the only other one to win an MVP with a batting average under 270 was Roger Maris. Ladden, who turned 24 years old yesterday, shakes off the first sign. Here comes the 2-2. Bouncer to the right side, and that's another foul. And that one was a little easier to call for Alfonso Marquez. Well, the Phillies begin play today with 90 victories, and right now a game-and-a-half lead over the New York Mets in the National League East. And Charlie Manuel's squad back on September 11th, 3.5 games out in the NL East, and they'd be going the other way. Instead of going north, they were going south. And you see the Mets score. That's a final, and Utley again fouls it off to the right side. So again, the count holds 2-2. But this has been as up and down a season as the National League East has had in quite some time.
Yeah, you were saying, Tom, and following this club on a daily basis, that it was even more of a roller coaster than last year. Last year was off the cliff for the Mets.
Yeah, the Phillies weren't in first place until the final weekend of the 2007 season. Whereas this year, they have spent a lot of time in first. The Marlins have spent a lot of time in first, and the Mets have spent a lot of time in first. John Lannon's got his signs. Here comes pitch number 11 of this at bat. A call. Strike 3 on the outside corner. And Utley is rung up. Second strikeout for Lannon. We've completed one. We're scoreless. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By Cars.com, where confidence comes standard. And by Gillette Fusion Power Phenom. Fusion Power, the world's most comfortable shave. Well, top of the second inning here at Citizens Bank Park here in Philadelphia, as Lastings Millage will lead things off against Jamie Moyer. Both pitchers had easy first innings. And Millage takes the first pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1. Millage having a good year, 268 with 14 home runs and 60 RBIs. One of the young players that the Nationals brought in this past offseason in a trade with the New York Mets. And he's in the hole, 0-2.
Mets getting Ryan Church and Brian Schneider, the catcher from Billings.
Two is down and away, 1-2. You know, the first half of the season, it seemed like the Mets got the good end of the deal for Millage. There's Elijah Dukes, also another offseason acquisition, who has turned out to be a pretty good player offensively. 1-2 is hit toward right center field. Victorino closes quickly, and there's one away. 4 up, 4 down for Jamie Moyer. Well, here's today's Cars.com game comparison.
And it's very simple. Can the Phillies clinch? And obviously they will have to win if they do, since the Mets have already won their game behind Santana. What a September Santana had.
4-0 record during the month of September, and these last two starts, 125 pitches and 117 pitches on 3 days rest. Elijah Dukes takes a big hack and a miss at the first pitch from Moyer. It's 0-1.
Earned run average under 2, a 1.83 earned run average in September.
Well, Jerry Manuel was saying last night that Santana came to him and said, "I want the ball today." And he said, when your ace says, "I want the ball," you don't think twice. You give him the ball.
Just like CC Sabathia has done for the Milwaukee Brewers. He did it last Saturday, then Wednesday on 3 days rest, and he will go tomorrow.
1-1 to Dukes, hit in the air, straight away center field. Not too deep. And Victorino's got back-to-back putouts, and there are 2 away. Well, here is our Taco Bell Washington Nationals starting lineup. Anderson Hernandez leads it off, of course, at second, then Guzman and Zimmerman. Millage, Elijah Dukes, and now Aaron Boone, the first baseman. Will Nieves and Roger Bernardina and John Lannon round out the starting 9 for Maniacta's squad. They come in with a record of 59 and 100. Taco Bell think outside the bun. Aaron Boone, and he takes the pitch outside. It's 1-0. Boone hitting .246 this year, 28 RBIs. He has been banged up and on the DL for a good part of this season. But he is the oldest Washington Nationals player at the age of 35. One swung on and fouled. It's 1-2.
And with Yankee Stadium, the last day of Yankee Stadium last Sunday, Aaron Boone certainly has one of the top 25 memories, beating the Boston Red Sox in 2003 in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series to send the Yankees to the World Series.
Takes pitch outside. It's 2-2. He said before that ball game, Derek Jeter came up to him and said, "You never know when the ghosts of Yankee Stadium are going to appear." And they did for him.
Did they ever?
Change up a little low. It's 3-2 now to Boone. Now Boone for his career is 2 for 15 against Jamie Moyer. Jamie Moyer played with Aaron's brother Brett with the Seattle Mariners. And he walks here. And the oddity and the longevity of Jamie Moyer dictates that Aaron Boone, Brett Boone, and Bob Boone have all faced Jamie Moyer during his illustrious career. In fact, Aaron's dad Bob was 1 for 4 during his career against Jamie Moyer.
Back in 1986 when Jamie broke in with the Chicago Cubs.
Here's Will Nieves hitting .266. He's become the everyday catcher for the Nationals, with Jesus Flores being on the DL. The Nationals have had 4 different starting catchers for an extended period of time this year. Johnny Estrada, Paul LaDuca, Jesus Flores, and now Nieves.
That adds up to 100 losses.
Yes,
You have 4 starting catchers during the year. You're going to lose a lot of games.
0-1 is a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the Washington Nationals / Montreal Expos have put together a handful of 100-loss seasons during the franchise's history. Well, this is not one that Maniacta envisioned. Line drive to right, fairly deep but playable. Worth will take care of it. And the inning is over. 3 fly ball outs for Jamie Moyer. He's through 2. We head to the bottom of the second. Still no score for Philadelphia. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. From Philadelphia, it is game number 161 for the Phillies. And it's also game number 161 for Ryan Howard. He has played in every game this year, and he leads the majors in home runs and RBIs. And Lannon's first pitch to him is taken off the outside corner, so it's 1-0. Ryan hitting .250 on the year. And as Tim alluded to before, he has a home run against John Lannon. And last night, his home run in the first inning really jump-started this crowd. Straight away center field, and he knew it off the bat, and the wind was blowing in from center field, too. He lays off the breaking pitch, and it's now 3-0 to Ryan Howard.
Well, nobody could turn the wind around any better than Ryan Howard.
Well, that seems to be really the big change for him, too, Tim, is that he's just taking more pitches. You know, he's not swinging at these breaking pitches out of the strike zone.
More against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. He has a tendency to swing at more bad balls off left-handers than right-handers.
Pat Burrell waits on deck. Howard's got a good hitter's count. Here's the 3-1. Breaking ball hit sharply to first. Nice play by Boone. And Lannon is there to cover, and there's one away. Aaron Boone, a third baseman by trade, made that look easy. So the first 4 hitters for the Phillies have been retired here in the first couple of innings, and that'll bring Pat Burrell to the plate. Burrell .249 with 33 home runs and 85 RBIs. This is the final year of his contract here in Philadelphia. And although he's put up decent numbers, he has scuffled somewhat over the last couple months. He is 1 for 6 in his time against John Lannon. And Lannon works ahead 0-1. Looked like Nieves wanted that pitch up, but it was right at the knees for Burrell, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the best place to jam right-handed batters is not around the letters, but it's in on the hands, where a hitter carries his hands right at the waist.
Gets him to turn over on that one, but it's foul ball.
Anytime Pat Burrell only 2 home runs behind Dick Allen. Dick Allen had 253 home runs. And Gene Mauch had the best saying that I have ever heard, the former great Major League manager, Gene Mauch. Great saying about Dick Allen. He said, you find him, fine him, and play him. F-I-N-D, F-I-N-E, and play him.
Well, Dick Allen, his name is circulated over the last couple of weeks because he is one of 10 veterans, and you see the Wall of Fame here in Philadelphia. Dick Allen is on the Wall of Fame. One of 10 veterans that's up for the vote for possible induction into baseball's Hall of Fame.
What a player, and what a terrific guy. I mean, one of the great guys that I ever met in uniform. Teammates with him back in 1976 when he returned to the Phillies. What a player, though. He went from first to third, base running, hitting, but he was a nonconformist when it came to.
Well, here is the list that we just talked about. The Hall of Fame finalists as part of the Veterans Committee. Gil Hodges is on that list. Jim Cott, what a career he had. Ron Santo, great career. And Joe Torre is on that list as well. 2-2 to Burrell is inside, or I should say the 3-2, and there's ball 4. Well, there's so much at stake this weekend in the National League, particularly from a wild card standpoint. Now, the Mets have already won 2-0, so they're within a half a game of the Brewers, and the Brewers are trailing the Chicago Cubs. That game's in the bottom of the second. And the Cubs today are not putting out their A lineup, but still Ted Lilly has a 2-0 lead, and Pat Burrell has been summoned back to the plate because that was only ball 3.
So you were right.
I initially said that and I stopped. There's ball 4.
Ball 5.
Yeah. First walk issued by John Lannon, and a smile on the face of Pat Burrell.
You mentioned the Chicago Cubs not playing a lot of their regulars today. In fact, only Mike Fontenot and Kosuke Fukudome are in the lineup. And Eric Karros and Kevin Kennedy were talking about that before the game on the pregame.
Here's Shane Victorino. Victorino rolls one through the hole at shortstop and into left field. First hit of the day for the Phillies as Burrell stops at second. John Lannon's going to turn around and see with one out that the Phillies have runners on first and second.
Third baseman Ryan Zimmerman playing in, and Victorino pokes one by him. But Kevin Kennedy talking and saying that that's not only Lou Piniello's prerogative to not play the regulars, but he would do the same thing, and I agree with him.
Well, and Charlie Manuel was talking about that the other day. He said, listen, I'm not going to worry about who Lou Piniello is playing against the Mets.
Right.
I got to worry about what I'm doing at the time against the Atlanta Braves and then eventually against the Washington Nationals.
I think that used to be in vogue like 10, 15 years ago, but that's a passe thing for managers in this day and age.
Pedro Feliz, the batter, with one away. Runners on first and second, and Feliz plunks one towards center field. Guzman makes a great running grab, and Pat Burrell is going to be caught way off of second base, and they're going to double up Burrell to finish off the bottom of the second inning.
You know what? I know this sounds strange. That was a good base running play by Burrell, a terrific play, and a better play by Guzman.
So take a chance. We'll return to Philadelphia after a word from our local Fox station. Roger Bernardino is going to lead things off here in the top of the third. He shows bunt, but takes the pitch from Jamie Moyer for a strike. It's no balls and one strike. Bernardino is a good one. He's hitting just .203 with the Nationals, but he finished with a .334 batting average in the minor leagues. And these are the kind of hitters that kind of play into the hands of Jamie Moyer, these young, aggressive hitters. And he's ahead 0-2. And that one just missed off the inside corner. Jamie Moyer, when he left Seattle, said, all I wanted when I left Washington was a clear shot at the World Series. He gets Bernardino on that chopper to first, and he's there to cover. Fundamentally as sound a pitcher as you are going to see in Major League Baseball, and there's one away.
Talking to Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, he said, you know, Jamie may pitch till he's 50. And who can do that unless you throw a knuckleball? Like Phil Niekro. You mentioned Phil Niekro earlier.
Yeah, Niekro, when you take a look at some of his numbers later in life, was extremely impressive. 16 wins at age 45, 16 wins at age 46, 11 wins at age 47. And eventually a Hall of Famer.
Charlie Huff, Hoyt Wilhelm pitched into their late 40s. But nobody was standard stuff with just a fastball, take something off the fastball, not a lot of breaking balls. Moyer won't throw 5 breaking balls a game.
Yeah, he'll just throw it to show it to the hitters.
Right, right.
You see, he's the second oldest player in Major League Baseball history to win 15 games in a season. And Jamie hopes to be pitching when he's 46 when the 2009 season rolls around. He's ahead of Lannon, no balls and 2 strikes here in the top of the third. And there is a breaking pitch. And he nearly got Lannon fishing for it. So 1-2. Began the year with 230 career victories, now at 245. And I was talking to Jamie a couple weeks ago. I said, you know, what are your plans for the future? And he said, as Anderson Hernandez waits on deck, my plan is, and he said, I just came up with this a few years ago. As Lannon nubs that one to the left of home plate, Ruiz quickly on it, and they're 2 away. He said, my plan is, and I decided this when I was watching Carlton Fisk play one day. He said, you know what? I want to play in 4 decades because that's what Carlton Fisk did. And that to me is what Jamie's designed to do, is to play until the year 2010 so he can say he can play it in 4 decades.
He'd be a guy 45 years old after a multi-year contract.
Right. Yeah, there's some question as to whether Jamie's going to return to Philadelphia. He would like to. But as the Phillies move forward, I'm sure that they would like to have him back as well. But again, his contract is up at the end of the season. Here's Anderson Hernandez with 2 away. 26 players have played in 4 decades, including Tim McCarver. Hernandez takes a pitch for a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, you have to It's a little quirky to do that. You have to be born at the right time.
Right.
And then be brought up young for a cup of coffee. Mickey Vernon, another guy.
Hernandez has got a base hit, the first of the day for the Nationals, as he pulls that one under the glove of the drawn-in Pedro Feliz. And the Nationals have a base runner. Pedro as sure-handed as they come over at third, but because he was playing in because Hernandez had shown bunt, he really had no chance to pull that one up.
The time you talk about sure hands, one of the real gentlemen in the game left us this past week. Passed away, Mickey Vernon, who lived in the Philadelphia area. One of the real gentlemen of the game, and what a player he was.
Played for 21 years in the majors, also managed the Washington franchise, and there you see Mickey Vernon was just here at the ballpark a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And won 2 batting titles and played in 2,237 games at first base, and that is a major league record, and a good guy. So our condolences go out to Mickey's family. And there is Mickey Vernon in a Washington uniform. I love that old footage.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
There's a park named after Mickey and Marcus Hook, and a beautiful statue that's up there in his hometown as well. 0-1 the count to Christian Guzman, who lined out his only time up. Nice play by Ruiz, and it evens up the count 1-1. Christian Guzman, his first couple of years with the Nationals, besieged by injuries, and it seemed every time he was introduced to the crowd down at RFK, the former home of the Nationals, he was booed left and right. And he lines that one for a base hit right through the middle and into center field. So back-to-back singles now for the Nationals. They have 2 runners on with 2 away here at the top of the third. Jamie Moyer has his toughest spot of the game so far, with Ryan Zimmerman walking to the plate.
Well, you talk about Guzman being booed left and right. He's a switch hitter, so you can understand that.
Well, you talk about being a comeback in the city of D.C. You know, he not only was booed, they were hoping that he would leave town quickly, and then this year he's had such a good year that they signed him to a contract extension.
Yeah, all-star this year.
He's an all-star. Ryan Zimmerman takes a pitch for a strike. He grounded out to second his only time up. No score here in the top of the third. And Ryan, like a lot of young hitters, has not fared that well against Jamie Moyer. And he hits this one in the air to left center field. It's playable for Victorino. Phillies center fielder settles under it. And there's the final out here in the third. Nationals get a couple of base runners. They strand 2. We head to the bottom of the third. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Phillies. Carlos Ruiz will lead things off for the Phillies. He's the number 8 batter against left-hander John Lannon. Ruiz takes a pitch low. On the year, Carlos hitting .221 with 4 home runs. And he lines the next pitch toward right. Duke's got a late start, but he's able to recover, and there's 1 away. Hey, join Major League Baseball in its efforts to help victims of the devastation caused by Hurricane Ike by donating to the Gulf Coast Ike Relief Fund. Log on to www.ghcf.org or MLB.com to help those in need. Together, we can make a difference. And folks in Galveston were just able to return the other day for the first time to see all the damage done to their homes as Jamie Moyer takes a strike.
Yeah, I saw that traffic going to Galveston the other day for like 30 hours, that traffic filtering back into that devastated town.
Fouls the next pitch off. It's 0-2. Well, a couple days after Hurricane Ike came through, they tried to get back, and there was a curfew, and that was heartbreaking to see the folks trying to get back home, and they weren't allowed to, and then had to turn around. 2-strike pitch to Moyer. Taken way outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's the Philly fanatic, Philly's mascot here. He's got some props today, so that means he's going to be busy. Another foul, and it holds 1-2.
You know, making the last out of the third inning was Ryan Zimmerman, and it seems to me that you see more reactions like this off Jamie Moyer than any other pitcher. Oh my gosh. How can I miss that pitch?
At least he broke into a smile here with Jerry Morales.
Yeah, right. But you see that a lot from how in the world, here's a pitch 70 miles an hour. How can I miss that pitch? He plays on the anxiety of the hitters.
Absolutely, and he rips that one to straightaway center, and Millage is able to take care of it, so they're 2 away. Well, I asked so many guys if they can tell me, former players, a guy that they faced that was like Jamie Moyer, and Jim Cott is the name that a lot of times pops up.
Even though Kitty threw very, very hard, and maybe not the latter part of his career, he played for 26 seasons. But early in his career, that ball burying in on left-handed batters was something to handle.
It was Jimmy Rollins who popped out his first time up. He takes a fastball for a strike.
Tommy John.
That was the other guy.
Tommy would be more akin to me than Kitty was.
Particularly after the surgery, too.
Yeah, right. They have a surgery named after you. I don't know whether that's good or bad.
I guess in the long run it's good. At the time it probably wasn't.
Maybe for announcers, a Tom McCarthy surgery.
2-1 the count to Rollins.
But Tommy was a terrific pitcher, and he's known more because youngsters associate him with the surgery.
Rollins punches that one fair down the right field line, and he's going to get at least 2. He may think 3. Nope, he's going to stop at second. A 2-out double for Jimmy Rollins, his 38th of the year. And he's in scoring position here in the bottom of the 3rd.
I know what you were thinking, to have a 6th quadruple double. That's why he was thinking 3, but with 2 outs, you can't do that. That's when you have double figures in doubles, triples, home runs, and stolen bases, as Jimmy has had remarkably 5 times before.
Shows the consistency, getting on base, being an extra base machine. Here's Jason Worth, who struck out his first time up. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Phil's the second time today have a runner in scoring position. And a big rip and a miss by Worth, and the count is 0-1.
Good fastball and impressive stuff from the young John Lennon.
Randy St. Clair, the Nationals pitching coach, loves the way this kid has evolved, even over the last 2 months as a starting pitcher. He said he may not have the control to go up and down yet, but he has the control to go inside and outside, and he's really started to master that, and he has a plan. There's Randy.
In and out's better than up and down.
That's what Randy St. Clair was saying. Yep.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Worth. Rollins a good sized leadoff second. And that one just missed.
Catchers refer to that, Tom, as going east and west, and the pitchers that can master east and west. Well, you look at Jamie Moy. He's not a low ball pitcher, but he's a guy who's mastered the outside part of the plate to right-handed batters.
And is confident to throw it at any time.
Right.
Swing and a miss, and the count 2-2, and
there's
the outside corner.
There's an example right there. Good fastball from Lennon. Shredding that outside part.
Well, he is one of the bright spots for this national squad, despite the fact that he's 9-14. Kind of have to look past the record as Rollins takes his lead off second. 2-2 hit foul, and the count holds even. So the Phillies a game and a half up in the National League East, with the Mets winning today. Now that's important because the Mets are a half a game behind the Brewers, who are trailing today against the Cubs. It's 4-0 in the 3rd. Chicago. Mike Fontenot has hit a home run, and Ben Sheets has been lifted from the game already for the Brewers.
Wow. Swing
and a miss, and Worth is down on strikes for the second time this afternoon. Phillies strand a runner on second. We've completed 3. Still no score from Philadelphia. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. By the new AT&T, your world delivered. And by Michelin, a better way forward. 3 in the books. Last innings Millage swings at the first pitch from Jamie Moyer here in the top of the 4th, and he pops it foul. So it's no balls and 1 strike, and Moyer's done a nice job throwing first pitch strikes this afternoon, just as John Lannon for the Nationals has. Millage popped out to Victorino his only time up, so he's 0 for 1. Just 23 years old. And a swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. 23 years old, and he leads the Nationals in home runs with 14. It's the kind of year it's been offensively for the Nationals ball club. Jamie Moyer has surrendered 20 home runs this year. And he gets Millage to reach out and poke that one off the end of the bat. Victorino got a good jump, and there's one away. Well, an update on the National League wild card. Bottom of the 3rd. Chicago leads the Brewers 4-0. Darrell Ward a 2-run home run. Mike Fontenot, I mentioned a 2-run home run before. It was a 2-run base hit. And again, the Brewers are a half a game behind, or excuse me, are half a game ahead of the Mets, who have already won. 2-0 over the Florida Marlins behind Johan Santana. Here's Elijah Dukes, who's 0 for 1. Dukes way ahead of that changeup.
If the Mets do not make it to the postseason, they will be talking about that game that they played on Wednesday night against the Cubs forever. It'll be like the collapse of the Phillies in 1964. Of course, last season was like that for the Mets. This season has not been that precipitous.
Roller to shortstop. Rollins should take care of Elijah Dukes, who's hustling his way there. Nice scoop by Howard, and there are 2 away. And I think what they'll talk about, Tim, is not only the loss overall, the 5 runners the Mets left on base the last 3 innings, and the fact that Daniel Murphy led off the top of the 10th inning with a triple and didn't score. Or excuse me, the bottom of the 10th inning and didn't score.
That's exactly right. 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. They had a runner on at 3rd and nobody out, and never plated one of them. Talk about an excruciating way to lose.
Here's Aaron Boone, who walked his last time up.
A dumbfounded Shea Stadium crowd.
Absolutely.
And keep in mind, they went through last year. I mean, what a way to end a stadium.
And at the same time of the season as last year. Now today, they've kind of resurrected hopes with a 2-0 victory thanks to Johan Santana and what he did. Because he was masterful with that changeup today against the Florida Marlins. That change from Moyer is low, so it's 2-1 to Aaron Boone.
Tomorrow, the last day of regular season of Shea Stadium, unless they, for whatever reason, play a wild card game there.
Roller toward the hole. It's short, cut off by Feliz. Should be an easy inning for Moyer. It is an easy inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Nationals. We've completed 3.5. No score. Well, back here at Philadelphia, we welcome you, those of you who are just joining us, and we've got a lot on the line this afternoon. A Phillies victory will give them their 2nd consecutive National League East crown. It is a sold-out crowd, the 50th sellout of the season here in Philadelphia. And Chase Utley leads things off in the bottom of the 4th inning against left-hander John Lannon, who has been masterful for the Washington Nationals, just as Jamie Moyer has been for the Phillies. Utley's 0 for 1. He went down looking on strikes his first time up. And he takes the 0-1 inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, the last time the Phillies faced John Lannon in the Nationals, it was a month and a half ago as Ryan Howard waits on deck. And I asked Chase, I said, when you go to the box for the first time, will you think about being hit by the pitch last year by Lannon? Takes a fastball for a strike. It's 1-2. And
because Lannon keeps coming inside on him. Yeah.
He said, well, I won't think about it unless he hits me again. Then I might think about it. And this is a guy who is very low key, doesn't say a whole lot, just plays the game.
Plays it hard, too.
Pulls that 1-2 pitch foul, forcing Lannon to throw a few more pitches.
Phillies have two players, two base runners that are as tough on catchers with tag plays as anybody in the National League. Chase Utley and Shane Victorino.
And I think you can put Jason Worth even in that
Yeah,
category
that's right.
now too.
Yep.
Liner over the head of Hernandez and into right field, a base hit. So the Phillies have their third hit of the day and the first for Chase Utley. And he's aboard to start the bottom of the fourth.
Chase jammed, but just gets it to the outfield. When you follow baseball as a career, you realize that all good hitters get jammed. And that's the one thing I think Ryan Howard has learned this September. Prior to this September, it appeared to me that he would go to the plate and fall away from, I know it's an unpopular word now, bailout, but that's what he would do. It's an unpopular word this week. But all good hitters get jammed.
Took me a little bit of time, but I got it, Tim.
Oh, boy.
Ryan Howard lines one to left center field, and that's going to be a base hit. Utley around second, heading to third. He's going to get there standing. And the Phillies have their first two runners on first and third here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And the rally towels are a whipping.
Two jam shots, one to Utley, and now a breaking ball in the middle of the plate, loop to left field. Very, very good base running by Chase Utley. Normally with nobody out, you have to make sure. Good base running.
And now with Utley on third and Howard on first with nobody out, Pat Burrell has a chance to drive in a run, even with the ground ball, but certainly with a fly ball, because the Nationals are playing the infield back. And the first pitch a little low. It's 1-0. Burrell walked his last time up. 102 walks this season for Burrell. It's a pop-up down the right field line. Dukes on the run. He's there and he makes the catch. Tagging from third is Utley. Here's the throw by Dukes. Cut off by Boone. And the Phillies take a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the fourth. Well, there are those rally towels we were talking about. Chase Utley with his 113th run scored of the season. And for Burrell, RBI number 86.
If this were the 8th inning, and you're an outfielder, young outfielder like that, you'd think about dropping that ball because there's no way to make the catch and throw Utley out at home plate. So that's a rare foul ball sacrifice fly by Burrell.
And Victorino falls with a liner to left field. That's going to drop in front of Bernardino. So the Phillies now with 3 hits in the inning as Howard stops at second. And John Lannon in a tough spot here in the home fourth inning. That's the second hit of the day for Shane Victorino, who came in hitting .290, second highest batting average on the Phillies.
Here's Elijah Dukes. It's almost like a football team taking the 3 points and not on a penalty. Say 4th and 8 and you get a 5-yard penalty, you want the 3 points. Well, there you've got to take the out. But if that were the 8th inning, you'd think differently if you're a young outfielder.
And you wonder if, as a young outfielder, if he would think about that and let it drop.
Not early, not in the middle of the game, but you would later.
Here's Pedro Feliz with 2 runners on. First pitch from Lannon outside. It's 1-0. Feliz popped into a double play his last time up, and he's batting here with 2 runners on base. And 1 away in the bottom of the fourth. Phillies lead it 1-0. 2-0 the count. Feliz acquired during the offseason as a free agent from the San Francisco Giants. 4 straight 20 home run seasons with San Francisco before coming here to Philadelphia. He should get a pretty good pitch to hit here with the count 2-0. And he lays off, and it's 3-0. Carlos Ruiz waits on deck.
All the hits in this inning off Lannon have been flares, and it's typical for a young pitcher to think that he's got to do something different. when really the same thing's required.
Well, he walks Feliz on 4 pitches. And I agree with you, Tim. The Phillies haven't hit anything that hard, but it's in the head now of Lannan that he's got to be as fine as possible, and that's why he's probably out of the strike zone against Feliz.
That's exactly right. Randy St. Clair and the catcher, Will Nieves, out to talk to him about just that. Don't do anything differently. You were making good pitches. They haven't hit the ball well, but sometimes flares find real estate.
Well, here's Randy St. Clair out to talk to him as well. While he does that, we'll head out to Hollywood for an update with Jeannie.
Gentleman Ben Sheets willing, but the arm just was not able today. Got in trouble top 3. Mike Fontenot made him pay. Bases loaded. A 2-run single. The Cubs take a 4-0 lead, and Sheets gone after 2 1/3. Top 4.
All right, Jeannie, thank you very much. John Lannan here is allowed to run. He's got the bases loaded and 1 man down after a trip to the mound by Randy St. Clair and Will Nieves. He now has to face Carlos Ruiz. And the Nationals again will play the infield back to try to turn 2 and get out of this inning. And he's got a good candidate in Ruiz, who does not run that well. And Ruiz lays off the pitch off the outside corner. It's 1-0. He nearly went and offered it that one. So that's 5 straight now out of the strike zone for John Lannan.
That's the one thing you don't want if you're a hitter, is a check swing on the first pitch. No balls and 2 strikes, 1 and 2 check swings, understandable, not the first pitch.
Chopper foul, and it's 1-1. And I always wonder, Tim, in a spot like that, when a pitcher has thrown 5 straight out of the strike zone, is the hitter's mindset, all right, he's going to eventually throw me a fastball that I can drive. I got to get ready and get a good swing on this one.
I think that's exactly what Ruiz was thinking about on the 1-0 pitch.
There's Charlie Manning, who's loosening up for the Nationals, the left-hander. Ruiz pops it to the air. Right center field. It's fairly deep. It should get the run home. Duke settles under it, makes the catch. Tagging from third is Howard. Tagging from second is Victorino. Another sac fly, and the Phillies lead it 2-0. Well, good base running all the way around, particularly by Victorino to get over to third on that pop-up. And the Phillies have scored 2 runs in this inning, one on a sac fly by Burrell, the other one on a sac fly by Ruiz. And you see Howard getting a good jump, and you don't even see Victorino in your picture because he's long gone off second.
Well, it could be important because Lannan's been wild, a wild pitch a possibility.
Jamie Moyer takes a pitch low. It's 1-0. Moyer flied out to center his first time up. Left side of the infield for the Nationals, bracing for some action because that's usually where Jamie Moyer shoots the ball. And Aaron Boone, the first baseman, is now playing behind Pedro Feliz, only a couple steps behind him. 2-0.
Normally with 2 outs, runners on at third, you don't steal the base or try to steal the base. And the reason for that is if you're thrown out, the pitcher leads up, and now it's 3 balls and no strikes to Moyer. Way inside from Lannan.
Moyer usually does a little dancing in that batter's box, but he had a dance backward there. 3-0 the count. Ball 4, just off the inside corner. And John Lannan has just walked the opposing pitcher. It's the second walk of the inning. And that one hurts because Jamie Moyer came into this ball game hitting .080.
Wow, 4 straight balls to Pedro Feliz, 4 straight balls to Jamie Moyer.
A little bit of a smirk from Charlie Manuel. No smile from Manny Acta, as Jimmy Rollins is now the batter with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the first pitch is out of the zone for ball 1, and Nieves is going to take another walk out to the mound. And he's just trying to calm down his young left-hander. Hey, tomorrow the NFL on Fox returns with a doubleheader, beginning with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers squaring off against Joey Galloway and the Buccaneers. Then Clint Portis and the Redskins take on the undefeated Cowboys in a showdown between bitter NFC East rivals. Coverage begins tomorrow with Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, in high definition, only on Fox. 2-0 the count to Rollins. Tomorrow on the pregame show, Terry Bradshaw is going to sit down with Tony Romo, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Here, Jimmy Rollins is batting with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He's ahead 2-0. And there's a strike on the inside corner. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Rollins with 11 homers and 59 RBIs this year. And he pulls that one to third. Nice play by Zimmerman. Floats the throw to second, and the inning is over. Short-handed Ryan Zimmerman takes care of the Phillies here in the 4th, but John Ladden gives up 2 runs on 2 sacrifice flies. We head on to the 5th. It's 2-0 Phillies. Well, the Philly fans are certainly opinionated, not only verbally, but also when they're able to use their creativity. And they remember what happened last year when they came back and took the National League East title. Now they're trying to do it a second straight year. And Jamie Moyer, who pitched the Phillies to the title last year with 5 1/3 over these Nationals, is getting set for the 5th inning here, and he will do so with a 2-0 lead as he faces the bottom third of the order. Nieves, Bernardini, and probably a pinch hitter for John Ladden, but we'll see.
That's one of the horrible words in sports, choke.
And it's used so often too, not only for teams but also for individuals.
You know, maybe, and you don't hear this as the excuse of a result of a team in sports anymore.
1-0 is popped foul, so it's 1-1 in Nieves.
They weren't good enough. You know, maybe the Mets are overachievers. The first guy that I heard say that was Ron Darling, who's an announcer with the Mets. He said not only may they not be good enough, but they might be overachievers and not underachievers. I mean, look at some of the players they've run through there this year.
Well, I think today was a case in point as Moyer fields his position beautifully, and there's out number 1 with Ramon Martinez starting at second base against a right-handed pitcher instead of Luis Castillo starting at second base.
Or, I mean, if you're going to, you know, even a guy like Damian Easley, who's gotten so many big hits for that team. They had Fernando Tatis starting in left field, and sure enough, Omar Minaya, there was talk about him getting a 4-year contract, a new 4-year contract. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but on the other hand, it was an odd thing to be talking about that at this time of year.
Right, 4 days before the end of the season.
Yeah, odd.
Oh, Roger Bernardini has a 1-out single here in the top of the 5th, and John Ladden is going to bat. So Manny Acta is going to roll his young left-hander back out there again. He is 0 for 1. He had a swinging bunt his first time up. There's Manny, who was the third base coach for the Mets for a couple years after being Frank Robinson's third base coach with the Expos and the Nationals.
Here's a situation, if you're an experienced bunter, you bunt it right back to the pitcher because Jamie Moyer does not have a fastball. So he's not going to double up the guy or force the guy, the lead runner at second base. So there's no sense in using the corners to bunt here. Bunt it right back to Moyer.
Because it's not going to travel that quickly back to the mound.
That's right. It's not going to travel that quickly from the mound to second base if he elects to go there.
Ruiz tried to make a quick grab and a toss to second, but the home plate umpire Bob Davidson said it was a foul ball. So 0-2 the count to Ladden.
Boy, Ruiz like lightning from behind home plate, trying to coax home plate umpire Bob Davidson to call it fair. A lot of times you put your body between the ball and the umpire and he can't tell.
You catchers would do that?
Well, you do it on instinct, and
right.
You do it just naturally.
Jamie Moyer does not like the new ball that Bob Davidson gave him, so he'll try another one. Doesn't like that one. Maybe he'll try a third.
Oh, that's a great shot.
He took it from the ball boy.
Bob, I don't want any balls that you have to offer. We'll choose one from the ball boy. Perfect.
You see the smile from Jamie Moyer as he turned his head. There's one. Let me see.
I don't like that one either.
There's two.
You
Got
don't
any
have
more?
any more. Here, okay.
Well, Rob, the
these?
Bat Boy has one. There you go.
Like he's at a produce stand or something. This avocado's perfect. I'll take it.
0-2 the count to John Ladden with a new baseball for Jamie Moyer. Shows bunt again, bunts it in front of the plate. Ruiz out behind the dish and grabs it quickly. And there are two away. Up to second goes Bernardina. Hey, Fox Sports has established Fox Sports Supports, a long-term charitable initiative devoted to raising awareness and financial assistance for health-related charities. Make-A-Wish Foundation, our baseball charity, grants 13,000 wishes a year to children with life-threatening medical conditions. To help make wishes come true and bring joy to kids, please visit wish.org. And those folks have been doing good things for a long time.
A lot of charities that do a lot of things, and I can't think of any that do more than the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Well, two away to the top of the order. Here's Anderson Hernandez. He's 1 for 2. Now Bernardina can fly off second. So the outfielders will have a difficult time throwing him out if Hernandez is able to reach on a base hit. First pitch a little low. It's 1-0. Anderson Hernandez, a guy who was hitting under 200 with the Mets AAA affiliate in New Orleans when he was traded. There are a lot of folks that thought when he was acquired by the Mets from the Tigers that he would be an everyday second baseman. He lines this one to deep right field. Worth is back on the warning track toward the wall. Reaches up and he dropped the ball. Scoring from second is Bernardina. Sliding into second is Anderson Hernandez. And the Nationals have sliced this lead in half. It's now 2-1 Phillies.
Oh, where it says Citizens Bank Park, it's not padded in right field. It's padded to the right if you were paying right. But Worth really never had possession of the ball. With those big outfielders' gloves, it's much easier to make catches like that, but he knew the wall was close. Bangs into the wall, but never really had possession. So a double, an RBI double for Hernandez.
Yeah, he looked like he was a little hesitant, little alligator arms as he was going toward that ball. And he might be shaken up a little bit. I wonder if he got the wind knocked out of him when he collided into that fence.
Yeah, it looked like he hit it flush from the shoulder to the elbow, and nothing was pointing like a shoulder or elbow or wrist.
Count is 0-1 to Christian Guzman. And that pitch is a little high, so it's 1-1.
He hits it flush, even though his arm was extended.
They have gotten the knob of that elbow onto that fence
maybe
a little bit. Off speed pitch on the inside corner, and it's 1-2.
One thing, when you're fighting for a playoff position, nobody's hurt and everybody's the same age.
And the regulars play every day.
That's right, unless you're in the Chicago Cubs situation.
Warriors ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner on second. Guzman lines it towards short. Ooh, nasty hop for Rollins. What a play. And he throws out Christian Guzman. Great reactions from Jimmy Rollins. Strands a runner on second. Gold Glove shortstop, and this is why. All on the throw after this. Nationals cut the lead in half. It's 2-1 Phils. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Chevy, an American Revolution. Oh, this beautiful ballpark here in Philadelphia opened in 2004. Along with Tim McCarver, I'm Tom McCarthy. The Phillies have 2 games left in the regular season, and today they lead it 2-1 with the hopes of clinching the National League East title for a second consecutive year. It would be the first time since 1981 that the Phillies have won back or have gotten to the postseason in back-to-back years. Of course, they won the World Series in '80, won the division in 1981. The Dodgers wound up going to the World Series and wound up beating the Yankees, but it's been a long time coming.
That was that strike season where baseball was interrupted 52 days. And then the Phillies lost to the Montreal Expos in the postseason. And then the Expos lost on the Rick Monday 3-1 home run at the Big O in Montreal. And they went to play the Yankees in the World Series.
1-2 pitch to Worth, hit in the air, deep toward right. Backing up is Elijah Dukes to the warning track, to the wall, and it's gone! Into the first row of seats. An opposite field home run for Jason Worth, his 24th of the year. And the Phillies are back on top by 2. It is 3-1. Well, Jason Worth went off the outside part of the plate, and it was a little high, and he still drove it over the wall.
Well, if you can't knock the wall down, hit it over it. He tried to knock it down with that defensive play. That allowed the double, so he just said, well, I'll erase it. I'll hit it over it.
I'll tell you, as that ball was carried to right, I thought, uh-oh, Elijah Duke's going to go to the same spot that Worth went in.
I thought the same thing.
Well, that is the 16th home run for Worth against the left-hander, and Utley smokes one foul. That's a softball swing right there by Chase Utley out in front of it. And it's 1-1.
Jason Worth with 16 home runs against left-handers and only 8. I say only 8, but twice as many against left-handers as right-handers.
Well, for the first part of the year, he was only playing against lefties and had to convince Charlie Manuel that he was an everyday player. And when Jeff Jenkins went down with an injury, as Garrett Mock gets up and starts to loosen for the Nationals, that's when Worth started playing every day. And he had come into Charlie's office a couple of different times this year and said, hey, listen, I'm ready to be an everyday player. And Charlie said, well, I'm going to put you out there, but you better show me that you're an everyday player. Utley takes an off-speed pitch for strike 2.
Has he ever done that?
24 home runs and now 67 RBIs for Worth. And he's given the Phillies a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-2 the count to Utley, who's 1 for 2 today. Utley pulls that one into the Phillies dugout. Ryan Howard waits on deck. Chase Utley and John Lannan, a tale of 2 different college stories. As Utley pulls that one foul. Utley from a renowned program, UCLA. John Lannan is from Siena College in upstate New York. One guy probably played 80 games during his college season. The other guy, because of the weather, probably played 30 games during his college season.
A lot of road trips for Siena.
A lot of road trips.
Not a lot of home games.
Again, the 2-2 pitch. Hit in the air, deep down the right field line. That's going to hook foul. Towering foul ball. And Utley's getting his money's worth in this at bat against Lannan. Ryan Howard waiting patiently.
Boy, he is trying to wear him out inside, which is what left-handers primarily in the National League do. Right-handers can make mistakes down, and Utley will make them pay. But left-handers right on the hands. Quite a battle right here.
9th pitch of the at-bat, and Utley's down on strikes for out number 1. So Lannan, for the second time today, gets Utley swinging on strikes, or gets him on strikes. He got him looking the first time up.
Yeah, that's a good job by Lannan. I mean, you get him thinking so much inside that normally he handles that pitch away very, very well. Good power the other way. Good job by Lannan.
I think that's his thing. It shows the effectiveness that Lannan does have when he has his control, which he didn't have in the 4th inning. So 1 away, and Ryan Howard steps to the plate with some chance of MVP in the background. And I don't think that's what they were chanting after the first 2 months of the season for Ryan Howard. Fans here in Philadelphia were wondering if he could get over the 200 mark with his batting average. He swings and misses at that one. It's 1-1.
He was the most vulnerable player for the first 2 months of the season.
And I think the Phillies as a team felt very vulnerable as well. Charlie Manuel said he's going to hit. little extra time. But Ryan has found his stroke here in the month of September. One and two the count to the Phillies first baseman. He lays off the breaking ball. It's 2-2. Well, this will be pitch number 95 for John Lannan, and it's a swing and a miss on an inside pitch, and Howard is down on strikes for out number 2. And boy, did he tie him up on this one.
You were saying that earlier that Ryan Howard has been laying off those pitches outside the strike zone. Well, that was a good pitch by Lannan, who's worked both left-handers very, very well. Utley and now Howard.
And now Pat Burrell with nobody on and 2 outs. Phillies lead it 3-1, and Burrell lines one right past the glove of Guzman and into left field. He's aboard for the second time today. He had walked his first time up, had the sac fly his last time up. That's a pretty good swing by Pat Burrell.
It's a tough thing for players to get used to, that when they make an out, it was a good base running play. And that's why I said earlier in the game that Burrell at second base, you have your shortstop playing close. And if he makes a brilliant play on you, then you tip your hat. You got the bottom of the lineup up. You need a break off of second base. That was the biggest play in the game before the Phillies erupted for 3 runs.
Yeah, that was back in the second inning, and Guzman did make a brilliant play going back and making that grab. 1-0 to Victorino on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Victorino's 2 for 2. He singled back in the second. He also singled in the fourth. He'll be followed by Pedro Feliz. He reaches out and pokes that foul into the seats. It's 1-2.
A lot of times young base runners can't get in their minds that if you tell the outfielder by your aggression on the bases that if you throw me out, say if you're on first and you go to third base, if you throw me out, it's got to be the best play you can make. How many times do they do that? Not often.
Victorino hits one in the air deep to left field. Backing up is Bernardina to the wall. He jumps and he makes the grab. And Victorino of the Phillies are retired here in the 5th inning. But the big blow, a home run by Jason Worth. The opposite way. Phillies lead it 3-1. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect only on the Now Network. By Avidar. And by Turbo HD by Dish Network. Well, it's an overcast afternoon here in Philadelphia. Well, the Phillies are brightening up the home fans' smiles a little bit. They lead it 3-1 as Jamie Moyer deals to Ryan Zimmerman to begin the top of the 6th inning. Zimmerman's 0 for 2. He's grounded to second. He's also flied to center. And Moyer has been, well, masterful. He's allowed just 4 hits so far in the first 5 innings. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike now to Zimmerman.
Can't help but think, Tom, that all that talk about the weather playing such a big part in the New York Mets series against Florida and the Phillies here. So far, that has not been the problem.
No, in fact, that storm, which was heading toward the northeast, kind of veered off course, at least the bulk of it. They got in last night's game. There was some mist falling here in Philadelphia, but that was it. 2-1 the count to Zimmerman. Now 3-1. Ryan Zimmerman, who grew up in the Virginia Beach area.
Went to UVA.
To University of Virginia with Mark Reynolds.
What a great school.
Beautiful campus. That's a chopper toward the middle. Utley was playing over there. Backhands, throws off balance. Not in time.
Both Utley and Howard tried to make it in time. Utley doing what he can to try to get Zimmerman, but an infield hit for Ryan.
Well, they got more on that throw than they thought he would on the one hopper to Ryan Howard. So nobody out, runner on first. Phillies lead it 3-1, and Lastings Millage is due up for the Nationals. He's 0 for 2. He's flied out to Victorino both times. It's only the 5th base hit allowed by Moyer in today's game. His pitch count is pretty manageable. You mentioned Millage is just 23 years old. The Nationals have 16 players on their roster who are 25 or younger. And the organization as a whole has taken a slow but steady approach to the way they're building this
you
franchise.
hope it's steady. You hope it's steady.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Now the good news for the Nationals is that in their farm system, I know this doesn't always dictate success, but 2 of their farm teams have won league championships this year. So you figure there is some talent. You know, guys like Roger Bernardino, who you see there, and John Lannon, who you also see there. You know, there is talent that's scratching the surface. Millage bunts it to the right side. It's a dandy of a bunt. Utley tries to get to it quickly, but Millage is going to be aboard with a bunt single.
2 bad at bats, his first 2 at bats, and now Lasting's Millage bunting it past a guy who feels his position as well as anybody, but falling off a little to the third base side. And that first step in, had he broken toward first immediately, then perhaps Moyer would have gotten him. But he took that one step in, and you have to see where the ball develops. It might be bunted right back to you. So that's why you take that first step in. But had he broken toward first immediately, maybe he makes the play.
Well, I've talked to Jim Cott about this because he won so many Gold Gloves. Greg Maddux the same. 16 Gold Gloves for Jim Cott, and he said the key is to be in the right position to field your position. And Moyer normally is, but that time he was kind of off balance.
Yeah, you just got to tip your cap to Millage.
So runners on first and second now for the dangerous Elijah Dukes. He's 0 for 2. He's popped out and grounded out, and he hits one in the air straight away center field, not deep. Victorino on the run, and there's one away. So 1 out, 2 runners on. October 9th, the 2 best teams in the National League will meet to determine which one will earn the right to advance to the World Series. Coverage of the National League Championship Series begins October 9th with Game 1 in high definition only on Fox. And Aaron Boone, who was part of a World Series with the New York Yankees, will not be part of one this year with the Washington Nationals. But as the elder statesman, he's trying to help his team along. Chad Durbin is up and tossing in the bullpen for the Phillies. As Jamie Moyer is about to throw his 80th pitch of the afternoon. And by stepping off, Carlos Ruiz feels that it's time for conversation.
Well, you mentioned pitch count with Moyer, and you don't even think about a pitch count with Moyer unless you're looking at the lineup that he's facing and how many times they've faced Moyer, because usually your second and third time you're going to have a better idea with Jamie Moyer than most pitchers. You know he has to change up away, but trying to convince yourself to go the other way is very difficult. But the third time up, you're more comfortable doing it.
Aaron Boone takes a fastball outside. It's 1-0. I mentioned this before that Charlie Manuel has said that it's difficult for him to gauge when to go and get Jamie Moyer. And that's why I don't think you can look at the pitch count as you were talking about.
No. You think more about the opposing lineup than the pitch count.
1-0 is hit in the air, shallow left field. On the run, Victorino makes the sliding grab. Both base runners were kind of going back to their respective bags, so even if that dropped, Victorino may have had a play somewhere, but he got a very good jump.
Playing Boone properly a little deeper than he would normally, but a very good play by a guy who can go get him.
So 2 away.
Tom, the point again, right-handed batters have made 6 outs on fly balls to center field. And that's an idea of what right-handed batters try to do with Jamie Moyer. You try to pull him, you fly out to center field. And Rich Doobie now wants to talk to Jamie Moyer.
Well, Moyer talking to Carlos Ruiz as Doobie arrives at the mound. I said this a few weeks ago. There are some coaches around baseball that are somewhat unheralded that guys don't know too much about. This guy has done a fantastic job as the pitching coach for this ball club.
Yes, he has.
And with a mixture of youngsters, and, with veterans like Moyer. And he talks about Jamie Moyer just as if he's a marvel, because he also helps Doobie in a lot of the instructions that he puts together.
Yeah, I think we talked earlier. Rich told me a couple of weeks ago that he thought Jamie Moyer could pitch until he was 50.
Yeah. I said to Jamie, I said, you know, how many people get on you and talk about the number on your back being your destination for your big league career? And he said, oh, I hear everything. Well, right now, he's looking back and seeing Zimmerman on second and Millage on first. Will Nieves is the batter with 2 away in the top of the 6th inning. And the first pitch is a changeup for a strike. It's 0-1. A changeup, which has been the bread and butter for Jamie Moyer, a pitch that he learned in college at St. Joseph's University here in Philadelphia. Swinging a foul ball, and Tim, that lends itself to your point about the outside pitch, and when you try to pull it, you're either going to roll it to third or you're going to loft it to center field, or even, you know, loft it to shallow right field.
The younger the lineup, the less they adapt.
Sold out crowd whipping those rally towels around. Last year, those rally towels, they were swinging them here at the final week of the season, and it was loud. If he gets Nieves here, this place is going to erupt. 0-2 the count. And 1-2. Bernardino waits on deck for Washington. He's the number 8 batter before the pitcher's spot is due up. Pitch number 85 from Moyer. Swing and a miss. He got him. Well, forget about outside and low. How about high and inside? Jamie Moyer picks up a strikeout with 2 runners on, maintaining a 3-1 lead. Well, they like the live arm that Stephen Shell brings out of the bullpen for the Washington Nationals, and he is the new pitcher as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning. So John Lannon's final start in 2008, he goes 5 innings, and he allows 7 hits and 3 runs. So the right-hander is the new pitcher. Lannon threw 100 pitches, and the first pitch is a breaking ball to Pedro Feliz for strike 1. Feliz is 0 for 1. He's popped into a double play, and he's walked. Waves at a breaking pitch, so it's 0-2. Hello, Tim McCarver. I'm Tom McCarthy, live from Philadelphia. The Phillies are trying to clinch the National League East. I want to apologize to those of you watching at home. Usually you see the graphics popping up, popping in, popping out on our telecast, but we're having some technical difficulties, so we appreciate you bearing with us. Been a good one so far, and it remains 0-2 to Pedro Feliz.
3 straight breaking balls from Stephen Shell. If you're going to do that, you have to make the 3rd and 4th one a little farther outside.
That one wasn't far enough, but he still got Feliz to pop it foul.
Pitchers get impatient just like hitters do. They want to get you out right now. And they don't know the mindset of hitters who will chase.
0-2 the count to Feliz. He lays off, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tim, this bullpen for the Nationals at the start of the year was thought to be one of the best in the National League, if not the National League East, with Roush and Cordero and Luis Ayala.
A lot of
Saul
injuries.
Rivera.
Trade of Roush.
Yep.
Injury to Cordero.
That one's popped in the air to right field. Fairly deep, a playable. Dukes is under it, makes the catch, and let's head out west for Jeannie Zalasko and a game break update.
Well, gentlemen, how do I put this? Ted Lilly's on the mound for the Cubs. Not one Brewer has made contact with his bat. In some parts, they would call that a hit. This has been going on through 6 innings. He's given up a walk. The only other runner reached via an error. And we said 4-0 Cubs, top 7.
So he's got a no-hitter going.
He's got a no-hitter going. He must like that mound out there because that was the mound against the Astros in which he had a no-hitter into the 7th before it was broken up. And that was right after Carlos Zambrano threw a no-hitter for the Cubs on that mound.
15 consecutive no-hit innings by Zambrano and Lilly.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. And he takes a pitch low, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Greg Dobbs, the best pinch hitter statistically in baseball, is in the on-deck circle for the Phillies. So he will bat for Jamie Moyer. So it looks like Charlie Manuel is content to get 9 outs from his bullpen. As Chad Durbin looks like he'll be the first one to be brought into the game. And it is a good bullpen. 3-1 the count to Ruiz.
I think it's the right thing to do, primarily because, again, the young lineup of the Nationals has seen Jamie Moyer through 3 times through the order. It's time to put somebody else in there.
Well, and let's face it, he has been dazzling for Charlie Manuel this year, but in particular today. I mean, he has been masterful with the way he's sliced and diced this afternoon against Washington. 3-2 pitch to Ruiz. Shot the opposite way, and Hernandez gobbles it up, and they're 2 away.
I was going to say Dobbs is going back. I would not use Greg Dobbs with 2 out, nobody on. He's too valuable with men on base.
Well, with these expanded rosters, you have more options, and there's Matt Stairs, who is as good a hitter as you will have off the bench. And I agree with you, Tim, because if somebody was in scoring position, then you can bring Dobbs up and try to score the run.
A runner on at first with none or 1 out. Matt Stairs with a chance to choose one and park it over the fence and right. A real guess hitter. And he guesses right a lot, too. One of the real characters of the game. Great guy.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time, and he pops the first pitch up into shallow left field. Guzman wanders over, puts it away, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th inning. Chad Durbin's going to commit to the ball game. We'll return to Philadelphia after word from your local Fox station. All right-hander Chad Durbin is the new pitcher for the Phillies. He'll take over for Jamie Moyer, whose day is done after 86 pitches. Moyer scattered 6 hits over 6 innings, and Durbin has been a real mainstay out of the bullpen for the Phillies. A guy who, for most of his career, has been a starting pitcher, but really has established himself as a 7th or 8th inning guy for Charlie Manuel this season. And he'll be the first one out of a very good pen for Philadelphia. Overall, the Phillies bullpen has an ERA of 3.24. And he'll start things off against Roger Bernardino, who singled and scored his last time up. And he swings at the first pitch and pops it into shallow left center. And Rollins makes the grab, and there's 1 away. Time now for the sharp, game-changing play, and it's a whole assortment of plays. After Jamie Moyer allowed 2 base runners to get on in the 6th inning, he worked out of that jam. Got the first batter, Elijah Dukes, on a pop out. Second one, Aaron Boone, on a pop out to Victorino. A fine play by Shane Victorino. And then finally, Will Nieves went fishing for a high and inside fastball. And Moyer was able to get out of it. Sharp Aquas, LCD TVs, the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. Sharp Aquas, change your TV, change your life. Here's Corey Casto, who's pinch hitting for the Nationals. Casto hit a home run in last night's ball game. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike to him. Chad Durbin signed on with the Phillies thinking that he had a chance to make the starting rotation. But out of spring training, the Phillies had enough starting pitching, but they didn't have enough bullpen help. And you got to give him credit for figuring things out, just as others have, like Scott Air, since being acquired by the Cubs. Figuring things out as a reliever in really his first full-time duty as a relief pitcher.
Assortment of breaking balls into left-handers, away to left-handers.
He throws that one away, and Casto pops it foul. There's Anderson Hernandez waiting on deck. This ball a little high, and the count has run full now, 3-2 to Corey Casto. Durbin winds the payoff pitch, and it's fouled away. It's funny though, talking to Chad Durbin, as a former starting pitcher, he said he's much more comfortable coming out of the pen in the windup than he is from the stretch, because mechanically he's able to keep himself, he thinks, sounder working from the windup instead of the stretch.
Much more like he was a starter.
Yep. Castro's giving him a pretty good at bat here.
That makes sense, and it's certainly something you want to tell the manager. There's Brett Myers, who is available tomorrow, but not today.
3-2 the count to Casto with one away. That's a good at bat. He takes ball 4, and the Nationals have a base runner with one away. Well, time now for our Sprint game summary. And the Phillies can clinch their second straight National League East title with a victory today. Jason Worth's solo home run has given the Phillies a 3-1 lead, and Jamie Moyer has become one of the big storylines for this club this entire year, including today. 6 innings, 6 hits. He allowed just 1 run. 2 of those hits that he allowed were to Anderson Hernandez. Hernandez 2 for 3. He has singled, doubled, driven in a run, and he rolls one to second base. Utley has it, heads up play, and he gets Casto, and that's one of the only ways you can get Hernandez on a quick double play. 4-3 on the double play. Chad Durbin is through 7. It is now time to stretch here in Philadelphia with the Phillies leading it 3-1. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by the all-new Pilot, only from Honda. By State Farm, at home or away, State Farm is there. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Oh, sold out Citizens Bank Park. And Mike Hinckley is the new pitcher for the Washington Nationals. He comes into a 3-1 ball game. And the Philly fans are sensing that they are just 6 outs away from clinching another National League East title. But they'd like to get some breathing room. And Jimmy Rollins will start things off, and he takes a fastball for a strike. It'll be Rollins, then Jason Worth, who homered his last time up. That made it 3-1. Rollins is 1 for 3 and takes a breaking ball inside. It's 1-1. These pile-on runs are so big for any team. Doesn't matter what point in the season it is. They can tack on some runs. Line drive towards center field. It slices back toward Millage. And there's one away.
Now, if you're Manny Acta, you want to leave the left-hander in to face a guy who's very successful against left-handers in Worth. The reason for that is you have Chase Utley and Ryan Howard coming up. Ryan Matson now forming for Phillies, and Mott up again for the Nats.
Yeah, Matson has become the 8th inning guy for the Phillies with the injury to Tom Gordon.
Eighth inning's been a tough inning
for
the Phillies all year, right?
Yeah, in fact, in August, the Phillies had blown, August and the first part of September, 5 games.
Wow.
While leading in the 8th inning. 1-1 the count to Jason Worth. Oh, we mentioned this Washington squad with 100 losses this year. And they're trying to build this franchise back to respectability. Got a brand new ballpark down in D.C., which should help. But again, injuries and keeping everybody healthy. That seemed to be the key component this year. And one of the reasons why they're in the basement in the NL East. 2-1 is lifted in the air down the right field line. Dukes is on the run, and he's there. And they're 2 away. Two outs, and here's Chase Utley. Here is our Zantac relief pitcher profile. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac. I mentioned that Mike Hinckley is one of the young pitchers for these Washington Nationals. Former 3rd round selection in 2001. He's 5-5 this year with a 4.57 ERA at 2 different levels for the Nationals. Chase Utley, the batter, takes a breaking ball away. And you mentioned, Tim, that you keep him in to face Worth because you have Utley. And then you have Ryan Howard in the on-deck circle, so he did the job of getting Jason Worth so he could get to these left-handers.
Get through Ryan Howard and then bring in the right-handed batter. So Manny Acta doing something similar that Charlie Manuel's doing.
Nice play by Aaron Boone on one hop, and Chase Utley is retired. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies. Now let's send it to Jeannie Zelasco in Los Angeles with a DirecTV game break.
Welcome to the DirecTV Game Break, sponsored by DirecTV, the best way to watch sports. The Mets fighting for their playoff lives, and yes, that was Johan Santana starting on 3 days rest. A 36-minute rain delay. Santana had it going early and late, getting some offense from Ramon Martinez, the double to right, giving the Mets a 2-0 lead. And then, yes, top 9, that's Santana, complete game, taking care of business. And the Mets get the 2-0 victory, keep their postseason hopes alive.
Well, Eric Bruntlett has come on to play left field for the Phillies. He's in for Pat Burrell. This is normally the case late in games. And Ryan Madson is our new pitcher. This is our Zantac relief pitcher profile. Heartburn, attack it. Zantac, 76th appearance of the year for Madson, and he has been good. And the first pitch is lined into right field, a base hit for Guzman, his second hit of the afternoon. So he is now 4 hits away from the franchise record for base hits for the Washington Nationals, as he is 2 for 4 this afternoon.
It's a small thing, but with the number 5 hole hitter, Pat Burrell, coming up second in the bottom of the 8th inning, normally you'd have the pitcher in that spot because that would be an ideal situation to bring in a guy like Greg Dobbs, because you're going to bring in Lidge in the 9th inning. But Charlie Manuel has had Bruntlett in the 5 hole and the pitcher in the normal 9 hole. It's a small point, but in my opinion, it should have been the pitcher hitting 5th and not the left fielder.
Saw J.C. Romero warming up. Here's Howard over toward the fence, and he runs out of room. And it's 0-1. Well, it's a good point too, Tim, because you're losing Pat Burrell's bat anyway.
Right.
So you're bringing Bruntlett in for defense. So if you bat him 9th, you could easily, with the expanded rosters and with the fact he hasn't used many guys, Charlie Manuel can find an assortment of players that he can send up there depending on the situation.
If you have Howard on at first base, or if you have one out and nobody on, it's a chance to use the best pinch hitter in baseball. But now with Bruntlett in for defense, you can't use Greg Dobbs unless the Phillies send 6 guys to the plate in the bottom of the 8th inning.
0-1, swung on and missed, and there's that nasty changeup from Madson. Zimmerman today is 1 for 3. That's
good changeup.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Matson's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Fastball up and in, 1-2. Not a bad waste pitch. J.C. Romero continues to loosen in the pen. Again, all right-handers for the Nationals until you get to the bottom of the order, where Bernardina is the number 8 hitter. Another fastball in. It's 2-2. And the crowd didn't like that call by Bob Davidson, but what was that old line that Vin Scully had when Sandy Koufax was firing a no-hitter? The crowd is thinking with their hearts and not their eyes.
Yeah.
Three and 2 now to Zimmerman. It's a good at bat by Ryan Zimmerman. He was in the hole 0-2. Guy who we mentioned before, drafted out of the University of Virginia and arrived in the big leagues the same year he was drafted. That does not happen often. 3-2 the count. Guzman doesn't go. Pitch is swatted foul past Tim Tolman.
When you don't send a runner on a 3-2 count in a game like this, it's an indication that a manager does not have a lot of confidence in a hitter making contact. But I think Zimmerman makes contact enough. I'd send the runner here even though it's a 2-run ball game.
See if Manny Acta changes his approach with Guzman on first. And again the count 3-2 to Zimmerman. He doesn't go. pitch is lined toward right field. It's deep. Worth is back, and it is over his head and off the base of the wall. Guzman got a late start around second. He's going to be held at third. And now the Nationals have the tying run on second base with nobody out here in the top of the 8th inning.
That roar you may hear on your television is from about 110 miles north of here in New York. As Guzman, who would have scored had he been going, but a moot point. So now it's second and third and one out.
And a trip to the mound for Rich Doobie, and the Phillies in a tough spot here in the top of the 8th inning. Let's go out to Los Angeles for Jeannie Zalasko on a game break.
Well, we mentioned it before, right? Or maybe I tried not to mention it. Cubs Ted Lilly took a no-hitter into the 7th inning, and the very first batter he faced in the 7th inning, Ryan Braun, took it away. A couple batters later, J.J. Hardy offers up the sacrifice fly, and Mr. Braun would come on home. So the no-hitter is gone. The Cubs will have a 4-1 lead, top 8.
Well, Jeannie, that's the second time now for Lilly that has gotten to the 7th inning, and the first batter's gotten a base hit against him.
Jeannie did her job. We didn't do ours. We talked about it as a no-hitter.
What do you
mean we?
Yeah.
I know, you're looking at me. What do you mean we?
I'm always one to lay it out there, even if it's the 6th inning, 7th inning.
Absolutely.
Well, Ryan Matson has 2 runners on in scoring position. Lastings Millage, the batter, in a 3-1 game. The Phillies with a 2-run lead are 6 outs away from clinching the National League East. And a sharply hit grounder foul up the first base line. And it's 0-1. I'm wondering, Tim, with Romero loosening up in the pen, you got Elijah Dukes on deck. He's a right-handed hitter. And you wonder who Romero's waiting for, unless it's a potential pinch hitter, because Maniacta has all left-handers pretty much on his bench.
Right.
Change up, lofted in the air. Shallow center field. Victorino on the run. Slides, and Rollins makes the over-the-shoulder grab. Tagging from third is Guzman. He's going to score. Victorino looks like he's hurt on the grass. And Jimmy Rollins just made an unbelievable play on a sacrifice fly. It is 3-2 Phillies.
What a spectacular play by Rollins, but you wonder at what cost. Watch this. Shins collide. Christian Guzman made a great play earlier, and Jimmy Rollins just bests Guzman, colliding with Victorino. Looked like the right shins of both Rollins and Victorino clash. One more time. An alert play by Guzman at third. Ooh, boy. Oh.
Yeah, because you can get caught watching what's going on there. And Victorino is up and limping. He's going to try to walk off the pain. Rollins is up, and he's kind of shaking it off as well.
Victorino cannot make this play. Rollins has to and does. Oh, boy.
That is an amazing catch.
Remarkable.
Guzman tagging all the way here. And you can get caught watching, and he wasn't caught watching.
Oh, yeah. Normally, the runner at third base would go halfway. That's alert base running by Guzman. But what a play by Rollins, and Philly fans hoping Victorino's all right. Man.
So 1 out with a runner on second. Victorino back to center. Jimmy Rollins back to short. Charlie Manuel back to the dugout. Charlie had a little foot race going with Phillies athletic trainer Mark Anderson. Now they're way back out from the outfield, way back in from the outfield. And Elijah Dukes now the hitter with a runner on second. There is Ryan Zimmerman. Dukes today is 0 for 3. He's popped out to center twice. He's grounded to short. And they're going to peel to third. And Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, is the one that made the signal. He said that Guzman did not leave early.
Yeah, it's a tough play for Bob Davidson, because if there's a play at home, he's got to be in 2 places at once. Watching the play at third and watching a play at the plate.
Inside fastball. It's 1-0 to Dukes. Well, our replay shows that Guzman read it perfectly.
Oh, yeah. once he sees Rollins make the play, it's just a simple matter of walking home.
Bear down on the inside corner to Dukes. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the Mets have already won today, so they're within a game and a half of the Phillies in the National League East as Aaron Boone waits on deck. A win, though, by the Phillies today, and the East is theirs. Well, this one's gotten just a little tighter here in the 8th inning. With a runner on second, the 1-1 is inside. It's 2-1. That seems to be the approach against Dukes, is that they're going to try to bear down on his hands.
3 straight fastballs in tight to Elijah Dukes.
I wonder if that sets up the changeup here with the count 2-1. There is the changeup, and a good one. It's 2-2.
Did good call, Tom. After 3 fastballs, you can see Ruiz setting up away, and he gets the changeup. Look for it again.
This crowd getting back into it here in Philadelphia. Hanging on to a 1-run lead in the top of the 8th inning. Zimmerman's on second base. He's the potential tying run. The 2-2 pitch. Changeup hit foul, and Dukes did a good job just getting a piece of that one. And it also got a piece of his foot, too. He's sold out here at Philadelphia for the 50th time this season. 2-2, shatters his bat. A slow roller to third. Feliz avoids the top of the bat and throws out Dukes. And in doing so, holds Zimmerman at second. 2 away. So 4 outs to go. But more importantly, 1 out to get out of the 8th inning.
Boy, that bat just splintered. And you're right, the bat going to the left of Feliz, about 8 feet. Pedro makes a nice play.
Pedro Feliz has the 2nd best fielding percentage in the National League for third baseman. He had good concentration. Here's Aaron Boone, who's 0 for 2. Aaron, whose dad, Bob, we mentioned his name before, is one of Jim Bowden's assistants with the Washington Nationals, as Garrett Mock just waits in the bullpen. Chase Utley wants a word with Ryan Matson and Carlos Ruiz. And Bob played such a pivotal role in the history of the Philadelphia Phillies in the 70s and in the early 80s as Brad Lidge waits for an opportunity to pitch here in the 9th.
Who could ever forget the Boone DeRose play in the 1980 World Series, Game 6, won by Steve Carlton, bobbled by Boone, and caught by Rose near the Phillies dugout at the Vet.
And I know you know Bob better than I do, but he contends that if Pete hadn't been there, he would have been able to make that catch cleanly.
Oh, yeah. He just wanted Pete to get all the credit.
That's exactly
it.
Of course. 2 away here, the top of the 8th. Here's Aaron Boone. And the first pitch is a changeup for a strike.
And Pete gladly took it.
Had the presence of mind to bounce that ball on the turf.
Yep.
We talked before about this place erupting when Jamie Moyer was on the mound. With Zimmerman on second, they will explode if Aaron Boone is rung up. And now it's 0-2. And to their feet they come. Who says that a crowd is quieter when you have rally towels? Two in the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Not a bad 2-strike pitch. Well, Nieves waits on deck. Phillies scored 2 in the 4th. After the Nationals scored a run in the 5th, Jason Work made it 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Nationals have scored 1 here in the 8th. 1-2 the count to Boone. The pitch from Matson. Got it! Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Prescription Flomax, by Sharp Aquas, LCD TVs. Change your TV, change your life. And by DHL, delivering America's pastime on time. 45,177 here in Philadelphia. And Ryan Howard will lead it off in the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies lead it 3-2. And the first pitch from Hinckley hit high in the air to straightaway center field. Millage on the run, has room, and he makes the catch. And Hinckley now has retired 4 straight. Hey, to see which of your favorite players are close to reaching a milestone, log on to foxsports.com, keyword milestone. And Ryan Howard, one of 4 Phillies to lead the National League in home runs and RBIs in the same season. He's done it once, and he's on the verge of doing it a second time.
He would have had RBI number 147 had the wind been blowing out or just still, but that wind blowing in hard in center field.
So Mike Hinckley retires him. Manny Acta makes a pitching change. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we return. Here's the in-game box score for the Philadelphia Phillies. The top 4 hitters in the lineup, or 5 hitters I should say, each have a base hit, and they have played a role in the 3 runs the Phillies have scored. But it's Shane Victorino, the number 6 hitter, who has 2 hits in this afternoon's game. And that box score is brought to you by Avidar.
Victorino actually has 3 hits, 1 by Jimmy Rollins.
That's right. And that was in the top of the 8th inning. It led to the 1 run for the Nationals, but he took a licking from Rollins. Here is Eric Bruntlett, who is up at the plate for the first time. He'll face Garrett Mock, new pitcher for the Nationals, and he takes a breaking ball off the plate, and it's 1-0. Mock on a relief of Mike Hinckley as Brad Lidge starts to get tuned up in the bullpen for the Phillies. 2-0 the count. Bruntlett acquired with Lidge this offseason from the Houston Astros. He'll be followed by Shane Victorino, who we were just talking about. Good sinker there by Mock, and it's 2-1.
The Philadelphia Phillies lead the major leagues with a 77-0 record with a lead after the 8th inning, largely due to Brad Lidge.
So many people wondered what kind of an effect the city of Philadelphia would have on Lidge coming here from Houston. And because he has been so good, it has been a positive effect all the way around, and that's why the Phillies signed him to a contract extension. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. And the knot in the stomach for the fans is probably big and tight right now, but they've got a 1-run lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Lidge, who has been so loose this year, has converted 40 saves without blowing a save this year. 3-2 the count to Bruntlett. Mock delivers the payoff. Popped up behind home plate. I don't think Nieves is going to have a chance, and he won't. And it remains full 3-2. Bruntlett came on in the top of the 8th inning as part of a double switch to replace Pat Burrell defensively. So this would be Pat Burrell's spot in the order. Charlie Emanuel deciding to go with a little defense in left field, some extra defense in left, and giving Bruntlett a 214 hitter a chance to bat here in the bottom of the 8th. And he takes a fastball on the inside corner for strike 2, or for strike 3. So 2 away. Let's go out to Los Angeles for Jeannie Zelasco and a game break.
And we have the Royals threatening again in Minnesota. Top 7, 2 on, 1 out. Ryan Sheely to single to right field. Mike Avila scores. Alberto Piaspo also comes home. And guess what? The Royals have the 4-2 lead over the Twins, bottom 7.
Well, Kansas City not making it easy on the Minnesota Twins right now. The White Sox play the Indians later on. Shane Victorino swings and misses at the first pitch. And the count is 0-1. Again, the White Sox still have that 1 extra game lingering against the Detroit Tigers that they possibly will have to play on Monday. Victorino serves it the opposite way. Nice play by Guzman, but no chance to throw out the speedy Victorino. 3rd hit of the day for Shane. And it comes with 2 away. Time now for our Flomax game summary. Austin Millage sacrifice fly has made it a 1-run game, 3-2. Jason Worth's solo home run made it 3-1 in favor of the Phils, and the big storyline, the Phillies with 3 more outs can clinch the National League East today.
Don't look for Victorino to start or to stop. He'll be off at first base.
Doesn't go on the first pitch, and it's a breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1.
With 2 outs and you're the runner at first base and you're a base stealing threat, you want to run as quickly as possible to give the hitter a chance to hit.
Well, Victorino this year has stolen 36 bases. He's been caught 11 times. And what an impact Davey Lopes has had on him, the first base coach for the Phillies. And Victorino draws the throw. Pedro Feliz, who sometimes is a free swinger on these breaking pitches, will have to be patient and allow Victorino to try to steal.
Or you're patient, 1 pitch. That's all you're going to give it. If that pitch is a strike, you're on your own after that.
He doesn't go. The pitch is lined toward the gap in left center field. That's going to be in for a base hit. Rolling to the wall. Victorino should score. It's mishandled by Millage, so Victorino will score. An RBI double for Pedro Feliz, and the Phillies lead it 4-2. Well, I guess he didn't need to run. And that's some clutch hitting right there by Pedro Feliz.
He ran after the swing instead of before the swing. Victorino not running, and Feliz finds the gap in left center field for a huge Philly run.
Victorino got a good jump, and there was no stopping him around third, and this has happened now with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. It's 4-2 Phillies. Victorino will catch his breath as Carlos Ruiz has the count 1-0. He's 0 for 2 today, and he lines one off the end of the bat, a 1-hopper to Guzman, and he throws him out, and the inning is over. But the Phils get a huge insurance run for that guy. Brad Lidge is coming on to try to close out the National League East title.
Four to 2 Phillies, top of the 9th inning. Brad Lidge has not blown a save all year. He is 40 for 40. Enrico Bonifacio is the pinch hitter for Will Nieves. Ball 1. Tom McCarthy is making his way down to the Phillies dugout for the expected celebration if Lidge can hold on. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to the pinch hitter Bonifacio. There's a strike, 2 balls and a strike for Bonifacio. A huge double by Pedro Feliz, scoring the 4th run in the 8th inning. Strike 2, a liberal strike on the inside. 2-2 to Bonifacio. Got him. 1 out. Let's go to Jeannie Zalasko for a game break.
And we're off to Milwaukee. The Brewers have hope. They have Prince Fielder, and they have luck. Look at this. The pop-up, just too much for Ronnie Cedeno to hold on to. Mike Cameron scores. 4-3 Cubbies still bottom 8, but the bases are loaded with 1 out pitching change. We'll keep you posted.
1 out, nobody on here at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. The Phillies with a 4-2 lead. Roger Bernardino, strike 1. Bernardino 1 for 3 with a run scored on the afternoon. Hard to right, base hit. So Bernardino with a 1-out single to right field, and that'll bring up another left-hander representing the potential tying run in Ryan Langerhans. Strike one with a fastball. 0-1 to Langerhans. Langerhans hitting for the pitcher, Garrett Mock. Breaking ball misses away. 1-1 to Langerhans. Anderson Hernandez on deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Langerhans. Slider from Lidge. Ball 2, 2-2, good play by Ruiz. Nice play by Carlos Ruiz. That ball hit the front part of the plate. Ryan Howard behind Bernardino at first base. They're giving him second if he wants it. 2-2 to Langerhans. Ball 3, full count. Ball 4. So Brad Lidge strikes out Bonifacio, pinch hitting for Will Nieves. And then a single by Bernardino. And a walk to Ryan Langerhans, and that'll bring up Anderson Hernandez, and here's Rich Dubé, the pitching coach. Again, Brad Lidge has not blown a save all year. He is 40 for 40. The Nationals have runners on at first and second and 1 out here in the 9th inning. 4-2 Philadelphia. High ball 1. A ball and no strikes to Hernandez. Strike 1, 1-1. A little looper into right center field, and it's going to drop. Falling down around second base is Langerhans. The play at the plate, he's safe. Bonifacio scores the 3rd run of the ball game. And the Phillies failing to see that Langerhans had fallen rounding second base. So a base hit for Hernandez, his third hit of the game. Bonifacio with a late break, and the throw home slides under the tag of Ruiz. But missed once again was Langerhans falling down around second base. He had third base on his mind. And the Phillies had a play on it. Here's Christian Guzman, the National with the highest average. Lidge looking for a ground ball. Strike one to Guzman. 4-3 Philly lead. Still only one out with two on. Inside, ball one. A ball and a strike to Christian Guzman. A ball and two strikes now to Guzman. Good slider from Lidge. Low, ball two. A one-out base hit by Bonifacio, a walk to Langerhans, and a single by Hernandez. 4-3 Phillies. Lined up the middle, base hit. Langerhans going back to the bag, will have to stop at third. So now the Phillies will play their infield in double play depth. Langerhans could have scored on the play had he broken immediately. But in fairness to Ryan, the line drive held him at second. So he had to stop. Backpedals, stops at third. Bases loaded and one out. Lidge retired the first batter with a strikeout. And then a single, a walk, and two singles. And the Phillies see the bases loaded with one out in a one-run ball game. Ryan Zimmerman, the batter. Off the glove of Ruiz, and a fine play by the Phillies catcher, Carlos Ruiz, on yet another ball in the dirt. Tried to backhand it, crawls up his chest protector, and a ball on Zimmerman. Now Rollins and Utley out to talk to Lidge. Zimmerman is not a fast runner, so therefore Lidge looking for a ground ball to a middle infielder. Fouled away, 1-1 to Zimmerman. Lastings Millage on deck. The last blown save for Brad Lidge, September 23rd of last year. Ground ball up the middle, great play, Rollins, Utley. The Philadelphia Phillies are the National League Division champions of the East for the second straight year on a brilliant play by Jimmy Rollins. Zimmerman, Rollins, Utley. The Phillies win it. Jason Worth with a home run. But it was the glove work of Jimmy Rollins who won this game for the Phillies. What a play.
Timmy, we're down here with Ryan Howard right now. Ryan obviously had a great year for the Phillies and also had a great month of September. Last year had to be ecstasy. What's the feelings here?
Oh, man, it's a great feeling. You know, get over the hump and get in with one game left. It's a great feeling. But, you know, we're going to enjoy this right now, cherish it a little bit, and try to get ready for the playoffs.
You know, it's tough to ask the 48,000 plus what their thoughts were as that ball was rolling toward the middle. What were your thoughts hanging around first base?
Man, you know what? I didn't know what to expect. Jimmy, I think, just turned on the afterburners a little bit and made a great play to get there. Made a great play to get there and then get the flip to Chase and turned it. I mean, it was great. It was great.
Your boy is right here, Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy, not only that play, but also the play earlier on the sacrifice fly when you collided with Shane Victorino. I mean, talk about just the way this ninth inning finished up.
Crazy. Like I said, it wouldn't be the Philly way if it was easy. You know, that play, me and Shane ran into each other. When the ball came off the bat, I looked at Shane. I knew he had a long ways to go. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to let this ball drop. And usually the outfielder calls you off, but I didn't hear nothing, so I kept going. But he wasn't sure if he was going to get there, so he kept coming also. But good thing we wear knee pads. That saved us both. And then in the ninth inning, you know, with Zimmerman, he has good speed, and I was like, we'll probably need the ball close to the bag. You know, either have to hit it hard or hit it close to the bag so we can have a short flip, and hopefully Chase could turn it. I wasn't expecting to have to die for it, but you always have to be ready.
Well, you said last year that the Phillies were the team to beat going into 2007. You rode it here into 2008. What is the feeling to be able to come back and do it a second time?
No, it feels great. The good thing is I think we all have a little experience at this. So, you know, we can hopefully go a little further into the playoffs. We know that winning a division doesn't guarantee you anything. It just means you have a chance to go win a World Series.
Well, go enjoy it with Ryan. We're going to talk to Chase Utley now as Chase was able to get the first out at second base and then get the throw over to first. I asked Ryan, Chase, the feeling as that ball was rolling to the middle. Do you think at all at that point about what's happening?
You're just trying to play the game. You made a great play, getting to the ball. You made a nice feed. We turned it, and there you go.
There you go, too. I mean, it was a tension-filled ninth inning, too. You know, I know that there's always emotion and there's always a lot of energy surrounding these kind of games, but what a ninth inning.
Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. I mean, we have a hell of a year. We battled a lot. This team has a lot of heart, and I think we're excited to go to the postseason.
Excited to go to the postseason and also to do it the way you guys did it, to win back-to-back National League East titles. It's very difficult to get there one time. How tough is it to do it twice?
It's very difficult. National League East is extremely tough. A lot of great teams. We're going to try to represent it well.
All right, Chase, we appreciate it. Chase Utley again, guys, our guest, and he was the one who got the flip from Jimmy Rollins, got the throw over to first base. Whole lot of tension in a play like that, but they were able to do it. And Brad Lidge, Timmy, 41 save opportunities, 41 saves this year. This one was sort of a tightrope, though.
Helped by the glove work of Jimmy Rollins to end the game. Today's Chevrolet Players of the Game, the entire Philadelphia Phillies team, and the great double play to win the division. Here it is with the bases loaded and one out. Phillies up by a run. It's Rollins to Utley to Howard. And they'll be talking about that for a while here in the city of brotherly love. We'll be back to Philadelphia for more post-game coverage right after these messages.
The Philadelphia Phillies are celebrating. They clinched the National League East on Fox, the first back-to-back postseason appearances for the Phillies since 1980, 1981.
Clubhouse.
Getting it done, the celebration underway, a tempered celebration as we welcome you back inside the Fox Network Center. Jeannie Zelasco, Kevin Kennedy, Aaron Karras, all present and accounted for. Kevin, you noted that a little tempered because they've been there before. They know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, I covered the Dodgers celebration the other night. It was like
still going on, yes.
I think it's still going on.
It
was on for an hour and a half. And people in the clubhouse. We just saw the Phillies right there. It was just the players. The Dodgers had families. Everybody was in it. It was nice because the Dodgers haven't done it in a long time. And I'm not saying you shouldn't celebrate like that. But the Phillies, you see, they're a little bit more subdued because they won it last year and they got knocked out right away in the postseason. This year, they know they want to go to the next level.
Well, and that's the point. They were swept last year. It was 3 and out. And this has been a tough run for them right now. They've won the Eastern Division, and what's really interesting, now Cole Hamels does not have to throw tomorrow. He'll be your game one starter.
I want to say one thing. They won 12 of the last 15 so far to win the NL East. Last year, 13 of 17. That's 25 of 32 down the stretch. What kind of clutch performance is that? And for me, Ryan Howard's the MVP.
Well, when you bring up clutch, I start thinking about Brad Lidge, who this is a guy who, it didn't matter. He had quotes coming into this one. I don't care if it's 100-0. I want to be on the mound. I want to be a part of this. And what more can you say? 41 for 41.
Well, you know, talk to Brad early in the summer when he got traded, in fact, a couple of times this summer, and he said it was good for me, actually, to get out of Houston. He loved it there, but he did need a change of scenery. And after what happened in the postseason to Albert Pujols a few years ago. And the one thing the Phillies did need, and they addressed their needs, Pat Gillick did, getting a closer for Charlie Manuel. That's what he talked about all last summer that they missed, Eric.
Yeah, you know, and that's not just about winning the game. That's about also keeping the morale up. There's nothing worse than being ahead and then losing the game because that just deflates you mentally. And to get Brad Lidge and have him do what he's done, I mean, that's great.
All right, also great. We're headed back out to Philadelphia, where one of our very own has caught up with Jason Worth.
All right, Jeannie, thank you very much. Jason Worth's home run was the third run for the Phillies today, and it had to feel good. I know that you have 16 now against left-handers, but just the emotion of a game like this to come through like that, what's it like?
Yeah, it was a big game. You know, this was it. You know, we didn't really want to have to do it tomorrow. Today was the day, so it was good to get that hit there and put us out in front a little bit. And you know, it's been a crazy year, and it continues to continue on, I guess.
Well, you know, it's funny. Last year, you guys didn't lead until the last weekend of the season. This year, it was kind of a roller coaster between the Marlins, the Phillies, and the Mets. What has this last month been like, culminating with today's championship?
You know, it's been crazy. You know, we've played good baseball. We haven't played very good baseball. I think we got a great team here. We got a bunch of good guys, and it's a great place to come to work. And you know, and headed into the postseason, we got a job to do. I think last year we were almost just satisfied with making the playoffs a little bit, and we got to the postseason. We didn't really know what to do. I think with that experience and added to this season, I think we're in good shape.
You know, people talk about being able to put a team away. You guys had one game to give with tomorrow's game, but how good is it to finish it even today?
It was good. Like I said, we won't want to have to do it tomorrow. Today was the day we wanted to get it done and you know, relax for tomorrow. But we got a job to do. Everybody knows what is at stake here, and this is we're right where we want to be.
All right, Jay, go enjoy it. Congratulations. All right, it's a little cool here in the Phillies clubhouse, Jeannie. Back to you.
And a little bit humid, Tom McCarthy. We appreciate the efforts. I'd say try to stay dry, but I guess that's over with. Worth pointing out, Jamie Moyer, team-leading 16th win, third oldest player to ever lead his club in victories, 45-year-old, getting it done.
You know, one thing about the Phillies, whoever they do play, whether it be the Dodgers or whatever, you better be able to hit a changeup because you're going to get a changeup from Hamels and Jamie Moyer for sure.
Yeah.
All right, you'll get 2 cents in just a second because the very soaked Tom McCarthy has caught up with the very successful Mr. Lidge.
Very soaked is right. I should have wore the goggles. Brad does not have the goggles. Brad Lidge, who closed this one out, 41 saves in 41 save opportunities. All right, it got a little hairy there in the ninth inning.
Oh, that was a tough inning. I mean, that was a real tough inning. And actually, they did a great job tonight, battled me. You know, I had to throw everything I had out there. And We finally got that double play, and these guys have been playing incredible defense behind me all year. And it was a total team effort tonight, just like it's been all year, and nothing's been easy, so why not have a game like that?
Well, you know, Brad, people talked about you coming to Philadelphia, what it would be like and what the reaction would be. And people said, well, he has to get off to a good start. Well, I guess 41 for 41. 41 for 41 is a pretty good start.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm thrilled to death, and honestly, I'm so happy I'm here right now. I mean, this has just been an incredible year, and it's been an incredible year, and I've had a lot of fun, and wow, I'm going to enjoy this for a while. Get ready.
A chance to enjoy it. You know, and I know that you look forward to the postseason. You've been in this spot before. How much does that help?
It definitely helps a lot. I mean, you know, you can get in there a little too amped up sometimes. I think I was when I got in there at first tonight, but, you know, there's not a whole lot in the playoffs I haven't been through, so, wow, my eyes burn right now.
All right, go get a towel, Brad. Congratulations. Brad Lidge, good job today. 41 saves and 41 save opportunities. Jeannie, back to you.
Tom McCarthy, thank you so very much. You know, you got to appreciate the closer mentality. I don't need those goggles. He's not appreciating that right now. But what we do have outside, as we go to the highlights, the fans, lots of towels. So, Brad, if you can make your way back outside, see? They'll clean you up, but you'll be able to see again. This is what you missed if you're just tuning in.
Yeah, Jason Worth, who has 16 home runs this year against left-handed pitching, the most in the major leagues, going deep to right field.
And then how about the old guy, 45-year-old Jamie Moyer?
Yeah, there's that off speed right there, 80 miles an hour. Actually, that looks like a heater. You know, you don't know. A 74 changeup, 80 mile an hour fastball. You don't really know what he's throwing.
A tense moment here, the collision.
Yeah, you had Jimmy Rollins running into Shane Victorino. And for a minute right there, not looking good for Philly fans, but Victorino, okay, able to stay in the game.
And a little bit of drama here. Pedro Feliz, the RBI double to left. Here comes Victorino. Proof he's doing okay.
That leg looks good right there. And they call him the Flying Hawaiian for one reason. My man can run right there.
Talk to you about that later. All right, going to the top of the ninth. Bases loaded. Brad Lidge saying, what did I get myself into here?
He's been iced. This is a nice play coming up here by Jimmy Rollins, too. There's the finger fastball right there, the slider, actually, that he throws. And nice play by Jimmy Rollins to outlead it Ryan Howard to get it done. Looks like a split. It's actually a slider that he throws. But hey,
you know, and they clinched the National League East. And, you know, the difference between them and the New York Mets, the big separation, was Brad Lidge and that bullpen. I mean, the Mets bullpen, I mean, we've seen what's gone on with them this year. Blown save after blown save, nobody able to step up. But Brad Lidge has been the anchor of an excellent Philadelphia Philly ball club.
All right, so we have the winner of the East. What's going to go on with that wild card?
I think it's well, you know, what happened with the Cubs there. I mean, they didn't actually use their best guys at the end, but Michael Wirtz might have put himself in a postseason roster for Lou Piniella because, and I'm sure for the Mets fans who've been watching the Cubs game and the Brewers came back in the 8th inning, but then the Cubs ended up getting out of that inning and Fukudome hit a home run to open it up. So looks like the Cubbies are going to finish that up. It's going to answer your question, Dini. It's going down to tomorrow. The Mets and
you know,
the,
that's a good call because it is the final day, so we have to get there at some point. All right, October 9th. You're free till then, except for your other 95 jobs, guys. October 9th, the two best teams in the National League will put it all on the line as they go head-to-head to determine which one will earn the right to advance to the World Series. Coverage of the National League Championship Series, we're so proud to bring it to you, begins October 9th with Game 1 in high definition only on Fox. Of course, tomorrow, the NFL on Fox returns. Lots of games to share with you. Check out your local listings. Coverage begins tomorrow with America's #1 NFL pregame show. Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. That is in high definition only on Fox. And as we say goodbye to you here on this week 26, great regular season, we check out the champagne wishes and dreams of the Phillies, hoping that this postseason they will get it done. Congratulations to the Phillies fans. For Kevin Kennedy, Eric Karros, I'm Jeannie Zalasko. This is Fox Saturday Baseball. See you October 9th.
Promotional consideration paid for by